Welcome to Spirits and Screams.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Spirits and Screams. Tonight we're going to take a look at the film that inspired my love of the vampire subgenre, and that would be Dracula from 1979. This one's going to be a two-part video because you know I can talk a lot. So I'm going to break it up into two videos just to spare you watching a 3-hour review, which I know most of you don't like to do. If you do like that, let me know and I'll do that sometime too, but I doubt it. Also, I'm going to have spoilers in this one. So if you haven't seen it yet and that's not cool, just click off now and go watch it and come back once you've seen it and you can watch this review. I don't know how else to talk about this one without spoilers because I just love it so much. That being said, it's kind of an older movie, so most of you have probably seen it before, so it's not a big deal. Anyhow, let's have a little look at what it's all about before we get into it. I got to watch this movie back when it came out. I immediately fell in love with this. I loved Dracula and vampires and everything about them after this film. I was very obsessed. And I remember my dad bought me a cool pocketbook of this movie. I had the same cover poster, which I love. I love that cover poster. I have to get that someday. It was the coolest book. It had these inserts in the center that were all high gloss pictures, full color of clips from the movie and all of that, the making of the movie and everything. So amazing, that book. I think it kind of started over the years, started to kind of fall apart, and I got rid of it for some stupid reason. One day I'm going to have to see if I can find that book again and purchase it to add to my collection because it was really, really cool to have something like that. And I also have to include my mom. So she was an amazing sewer and knitter and that kind of thing. So she sewed me a legit vampire Dracula cape. Black, really nice fabric, all lined on the inside with this gorgeous blood red satin to line it. Oh my God, this thing was so amazing. I don't have that still either. Unfortunately, fabrics and things like that over that amount of time kind of degrade and fall apart. So don't have it anymore, but I have to tell you from then on, every single Halloween, I was a vampire, like every single one. That's all I was with that cape. And I had these really cool black satin pants that were a lot like Olivia Newton-John's pants in the movie Grease. I had those too, so the whole look with boots and everything was just so amazing. Got the fake plastic teeth that would make you drool and fall out of your mouth. But I was cool, and I thought I was cool. And that's what I was for every single time I'd go out trick-or-treating or any Halloween party or anything. Really, really fun. Gosh, such fond memories of that time. I'm so appreciative of my parents for, being the cool kind of people that let me watch that kind of stuff when I was little and kind of encouraged me and inspired me on the whole thing. Looking back on it now, I have to say a lot of my set design and what I'm doing must have been kind of inspired by that time. And this movie, I didn't really put it together or think about it until I rewatched it. For some reason, I was trying to think of something else I could delve into because I have a lot of movie reviews I'm going to do up to Halloween, of course. And this one kind of popped into my head the other day and I was like, wait, why haven't I talked about this yet? This movie really, it was the first time I'd actually learned about vampires. I didn't really know anything before this. And watching it kind of taught me all the elements and stuff. And it's just such a cool film because it wasn't like the old school Bela Lugosi, right, which I've seen before. And it was quite modern for the time period, but still very gothic and romantic and amazing. And so it obviously really inspired me for who I am today, which is weird. And it's weird that I put that out of my head, because I've thought so many other things like The Exorcist and Kolchak the Night Stalker, which of course was the first thing I ever watched, Kolchak, when I was little, really little, 5. It did inspire me, but I think this whole other aspect of it is what kind of brought me more into my own about what I enjoy in horror films and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm really excited to chat with you about it. I'm super, super excited to hear all your thoughts about this movie. What are your favorite vampire movies? You know, comment all that down below. Long comments, remember, because you know I love to chat. But anyway, let's get more into the details and the scenes and the acting and all of that. And I just also want to say I do love the movie The Lost Boys. That's right up in my top 10 probably movies of all time. I really love that movie, and I think it's because I watched that one in high school, I believe, and it kind of reinvigorated, I think, my love and passion for vampires again from this film, which is where it all kind of started for me. And so I think that's why I love that one so much. I love all the acting. I love that it was really different and very sexy and fun too. So just want you to know that I do love The Lost Boys as well, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. To me, this film is very cinematic, and it's just, you know, makes you get invested, involved, kind of just like sucked into the story and the characters and the set design and all of that. So much so that I expect a lot of people watching this back in the day wanted to travel, you know, to Transylvania, wanted to go see castles in England and all of that, just because it was so amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people fell in love with vampires because of this movie as well. Now let's talk about the cast. Star-studded cast with amazing chemistry, so amazing and awesome. We've got Frank Langella playing Count Dracula, perfection, gotta say. Laurence Olivier playing Van Helsing. We've got Kate Nelligan playing Lucy, and we even have Donald Pleasance playing Mina's dad. Oh my God. Like, I didn't even know back in the day. Like, I knew some of the actors, but I didn't realize until like now that how amazing this movie was, how star-studded the cast was. And the acting is just impeccable. They're just owning the camera and able to just captivate you and draw you in and be so bougie and elegant and sexy and glamorous and so cool and so scary at the same time too. Very, very creepy. There were elements in this film that were really scary, the special effects, that kind of thing. Even to today, because I rewatched this the other day. The practical effects when they become vampires and just all of the atmosphere, the rain, the storms, the shots of the castle, the silhouettes, the ship, all of it is really good. Like so creepy and so good. I can't even. I used to think that in Bram Stoker's Dracula, that the scene with Lucy when she's a vampire and she's got the baby, still an incredible scene, an amazing scene. Very, very scary and creepy. The same scene when we see Mina as a Walking Dead kind of vampire underground. Holy crap, that's really well done and scary, and so good because of the practical effects. I can't get over how they did her eyes, the skin makeup. Wow, just wow. I get in Bram Stoker's Dracula how they kind of took parts of that and kind of recreated it, reinvented it themselves, but I think this one, hands down, wins out. What do you guys think about that? Because they're both really good scenes. So good though. Oh my gosh. I believe I saw this one as a rental at home on VHS when I first saw it. I wish that someday they would re-release this one in theaters and we could see it on the big screen, because I think this would be such an experience. I mean, after watching it again, I was almost tempted to reconnect with some of the people I know and see if I could do a screening of this movie and, you know, invite people to come, because I think that would be really a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, especially for Halloween, come on. I really love the fact that they've taken this scary story and envisioned it in a very gothic, romantic way. So it's still very scary with really creepy elements. But that gothic romantic side of it, just one of my favorites of all time, I have to say. The opening scene where the camera's rolling over the ocean towards the silhouette of the the peninsula of the island with the castle on it is so cool. And don't forget, kids, there was no drones back then or CGI. They had to do that. I expect they probably, did they do it on a boat maybe, or probably did that from a helicopter to get that shot. So incredible and creepy. I just, right off the get-go, rewatching this again was like, oh, I'd forgotten how much I love this movie. Then we cut to all the sailors on the ship frantically. They're carrying Count Dracula in this casket with all this dirt, you know, to this castle. And they encounter a really bad storm, which is kind of very iconic. And there's water thrashing around and they're struggling to keep from capsizing, and yet they're so close to shore. You know, imagine a lot of it was on a stage set, so you've got that water splashing up. All of that kind of thing and the elements put together just throws me back, and I just love how that was created. I wish more stuff was recreated that way. I think that scene itself is my example of how I don't love CGI as much as I loved all the practical stuff. And I know, so much more expensive, so much more dangerous, so much more put into doing it that way, but come on, it looks so legit and so much better than when they do really bad CGI. Don't you think? There's so much to the story and history of vampires and Dracula and all of that, that this movie includes everything in it. I mean, I learned every aspect of what Count Dracula was, what vampires were, in this film from way back. That I love they put all of it together very fast paced and very quick, but you get all of these elements strung together and you're not missing anything, and it's totally captivating and believable. I think that the newer version of Salem's Lot could have learned from that you could in a 2-hour film, roughly about a 2-hour film, put together all of those elements in a short period of time and still make it work. I love how they did that as well, because it makes this film very rewatchable, because I'm sure the first time you watch, you're going to miss certain parts. This time around that I watched it, I did miss a lot of things, and I was able to put together so much more. But it just was so captivating and so amazing. It wasn't hokey or stupid, in my opinion, at all. I just loved it. I also love that in the beginning, all we get is Dracula's hand. That's all we see for a few shots. And there's a jump scare, and he crashes out of the coffin when all the storm and everything's going on the ship. And he slashes the throat of the captain or one of the sailors. That scene is so amazing, and the effects are so good. It looks so realistic. It's crazy. Suddenly we see a wolf appear, and it's not hokey. The way they did it, it just makes so much sense, and it's so good. The wolf is so gorgeous in this film. I don't know, I think I've told this story before, but I love wolves. Like, I just love wolves. And I did a drawing back in grade 2 or 3, I think, and the teacher put my drawing on the door of the classroom, so I was so proud. But I don't think I ever got the drawing back. I think she kept it forever, but it was really good. I was good. I got a book out from the library for reference, and I researched all about wolves, and then I did the drawing. So I just love it. So this film, you get to see the wolf here and there. You get to see bats here and there. Both creatures I adore, I love very, very much. But the way they're portrayed and the way they do it is just really well done. So the special effects are totally legit. And the music is really well done as well, very haunting. We get the music kind of playing throughout the whole film, but it makes sense. And in this case, I don't mind it at all. Usually I find it kind of can take me out of the movie. It's like I want it to be quieter, but in this case, it works. And then we cut to an insane asylum. All the patients are going absolutely crazy. It's kind of like a premonition of the bad things to come. And Lucy and Mina are in Mina's room, which I guess is attached to this building, because Mina's dad, Donald Pleasance, he's a doctor at this institution. And so they're in the room, they're in their nightgowns, gorgeous, gorgeous decor. They have a fireplace and a big bed, you know, just amazing. And they're just having a really good time visiting and socializing. Next, the ship crashes ashore, obviously because Count Dracula's killed everybody on the ship. So it crashes. And Mina, for some weird reason, runs out. I think it was Mina that runs out. Two girls are very kind of willful. They're at that age, I think late teens, early 20s. And they're kind of at that age where they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And I believe it's her. She's running out in the darkness by herself in her flowing nightgown towards the ship to go see if there's any survivors, which is crazy and so creepy in and of itself. Oh my God, so scary. But she's trusting and she's running out in the woods towards the ship to the beach, and then she kind of encounters Dracula, but we don't really see anything yet. All we do see is a man laying face down wearing a fur jacket, which looks like wolf fur. And she checks to see if he's okay, and they touch hands, and he slowly reaches and grabs her hand. So romantic. I can't even. I love that part. Oh my gosh. And like I was telling you before, the cover poster that they used for this movie is amazing. And I definitely have to hunt for that one and get it because it's too cool. I love that. The cover of my book had the same image on it too. So I wish I still had that book. I'm expecting I did get rid of it because it was really falling apart and it wasn't in good shape. And you know, back 20 years ago, didn't really think about collecting things. But maybe I can find that book too, because I'd really love to show you guys. It's really, really a neat book. And I also forgot to mention, we do have Jonathan Harker in this film, and he's dating Lucy. You know, I expect they're going to get married. And they're always sneaking off together and that kind of thing. Really, really fun. So yeah, the practical effects, the atmosphere, the sounds, all of it is just so, so, so cool. Really gets you into the film. And we learn little details of the story as we go, like the dirt from his native land of Transylvania. He has to have that to survive. He needs to rest in that. And we have the crucifix, the wooden stake. We learn that those things will kill vampires, kill Dracula. Hurt them, you know, that they're against that kind of thing. All those kinds of things that I just absolutely adore in the film. The costumes are so amazing. There are hats for both men and women. The clothing is amazing. We even have horse-drawn carriages that are pretty bougie, as well as the very, very first automobile cars that are really fun too. They're convertible cars. You know the kind. And the two kind of like racing against each other because there's lots of car chases or horse-drawn carriage chases that happen. Really, really fun. I love that. Jonathan Harker sets Dracula up with this house, his castle. The interior of this thing is phenomenal. I can't even. The Gothic look to the staircase and the cobwebs and the darkness and all of the you know, stuff that's collected in there, and the chandelier, and So amazing, so inspiring. Obviously inspires my set and my stuff, you know. Must have got it from there, but I think of all the vampire movies, Dracula movies I've ever seen, I think that this interior of the castle is the most impressive that I've ever seen. Okay, and like I said, we don't really see Dracula. We see bits of his hand, we see the back of him kind of thing laying down. We don't see him until this moment with the castle, and he's at the top of the staircase, and kind of the bat turns into his cape, which turns into him kind of walking out of it with the cape flowing down the staircase. And Frank Langella was a very attractive man, I just have to say. And oh my God, what a moment. I fell in love like right from there, you know. And I loved that this was kind of a romantic gothic horror film because it's really up my alley. But the way they did that transformation without CGI, so good, so good. And they did that kind of thing quite often within the film in different ways. So I thought that was neat. It's kind of like him turning into the wolf, you know, to get away, or turning into a bat, or